ギャル男宣言
Go, 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 ギャル男宣言 Go, 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 ギャル男宣言 Go, 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 ギャル男宣言 Go, 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 go おっす、俺ギャルを始めました BK 卒業パンツピタピタっていうか昨日も渋谷好きな食べ物はシーザーサラダガングロメッシュにカラコンレンズパラパラダンスの猛練習パラダイスに陶酔表現中ギャル男ステイチューン金じゃら銀じゃら銀ギラピンマルキューセールは仁義なし全身バリバリやっぱり B3CALO キノコを食べましたトランス聞きました調子上がってきたみんなが大好きだ
Well, it's Christmas time once more. Well, at least it is for me right now, but for you guys it's gonna be a bit later. Although I've released 2 other Christmas episodes in January, so why not keep the tradition up?
So hey, a new year, a new room, a new season of SFO. I want to kick everything off in a good way this time around. But I'm sort of tapped out for Christmas anime, aren't I? I mean, in 2009 I did Tokyo Godfathers because I really couldn't find anything else. In 2010 I did It's Adapting My Santa, which was apparently a really easy target that I had missed in 2009. But what the hell could I do for 2011? Honestly, there's not much. I mean, I thought about doing the Love Hina Christmas special, but it would only work out if I filled preceding episodes with all the other Love Hina stuff.
So what did I finally choose? Mobile Suit Gundam War in the Pocket.
Okay, I'm gonna be perfectly honest here. War in the Pocket isn't exactly a Christmas anime. It's a side story that happens within the original Gundam universe. You know, the one before the series got all fagged up with anime pretty boys. However, 4chan's Mecha Board has an annual rewatching of the entire 6-episode OVA every year, always around Christmas time. Here's probably the only thing I'm gonna spoil in this entire video. The pivotal event of War in the Pocket is a nuclear strike on a space colony during Christmas, and the whole plot is spent building up to this event.
Man, we went from super sappiness and It's Adapting My Santa to a Yuletide holocaust. At any rate, let's take a look at Mobile Suit Gundam 0080, War in the Pocket.
Ho ho ho! Did somebody say they want to be in my pocket?
Santa! That's creepy!
Oh ho! The joke is that the pocket's on my pants.
I get it.
And there's a lot of things in my pants.
I get it.
I mean my penis.
Why are you here?
Well, I was doing my regular rounds and I figured I'd come in and catch one with you. I mean, what? Even Santa needs a break. I mean, I only get 11 months off out of the whole year. And hey, you're always consistently lacking in Christmas spirit.
Fine. Whatever.
Did you know it's Candy Cane Strike?
War in the Pocket focuses on a single conflict within the large, overarching one-year war of the original Gundam series. I'm not going to get into the wider Gundam mythos here, that would just take way too long, it's far beyond the scope of this video, and if you're watching this you likely know it anyway. But here's a very brief rundown just in case. The Principality of Zeon, a government based primarily in space colonies, is at war with the Earth Federation, a government based primarily on the Earth. Zeon uses Zaku's, these clumsy-looking green mechs, and the Federation uses what look like cheap Chinese Gundam knockoffs. Gundams themselves are extremely powerful mobile suits, to the point that having just one can shift the tide of battle in their favor. They're even occasionally characterized as their own class of weapon of mass destruction. All the action takes place on or around Side 6, a neutral space colony. The Earth Federation is secretly building a prototype Gundam inside the colony, and the Principality of Zeon begins covert operations against this project. And all of this action and espionage is seen through the eyes of an innocent 10-year-old boy named Alfred, who just happens to stumble across a downed Zaku during one of the fights. Alfred is a big mobile suit buff and reacts to the experience with all the fun and innocence his overactive imagination can muster, rather than someone who actually understands the weight of what's going on. The Zaku's pilot is Bernard Wiseman, a pretty upstanding guy considering he's on the team that was traditionally considered the bad guys in the Gundam storyline. He ends up befriending Alfred as he repairs his Zaku. Other characters include Christina, Alfred's hot neighbor. At least I think she's supposed to be hot, I can't tell in that 80s anime style. Alfred's school pals Che, Telcott, and Dorothy, and various other Zaku soldiers, one of which is named Colonel Killing.
Really, people? I think the guy named Colonel Killing might have an ulterior motive here. No naughty list joke?
Nope.
What about giving him coal for Christmas?
Nope. I'll just chop him up and give him to the reindeer.
To an audience of today, this anime might seem very rough, and by today's standards, it is. War in the Pocket is straight out of the 80s. You're not going to see any digital animation here. No giant-eyed kawaii monstrosities, no intensely homosexual pretty boys, just smudgy watercolor and thick, messy ink lines all the way. Even Bernard, the guy meant to be the attractive male of the cast, actually looks like a dude rather than an anime girl drawn with a flat chest. The music, while forgettable, also largely falls into the same camp. 80s synth is the only rule of law for the show's soundtrack, and the opening theme sounds more like a choir set to some Casio keyboard rather than any sort of actual song. But hey, it made sense for the time. I'm not saying it's particularly good or bad, just really, really dated. I can see the show being a pinnacle of the industry back when it was released, but it hasn't aged well at all. The Japanese voice cast recorded their parts in 1989, and like the rest of the show, are products of their time. But War in the Pocket was localized in 2001, and many of the voice actors are recognizable. Can you guess who did Christina's voice?
Al? What's wrong? Is something bothering you?
No, nothing.
Well, is there anything I can do to help? So, by the way, how's Bernie doing? I haven't seen him lately.
How about Dorothy's?
You really want a badge that bad? Huh? Corporal, Rear Admiral, Fleet Admiral, Petty Officer, Department Head. The toy store is selling them for $1 each. You guys are really stupid. I told you it was junk.
The actors themselves are pretty well known for the most part and have done quality work in the past, but they all come off really stiff here. It doesn't help that the script seemed to be directly translated from the original Japanese rather than adapted. Everything is just so awkward sounding all the time. They stick to the original Japanese so tightly that half the time they just completely disregard syncing their voice work with the on-screen lip movements. In addition, they also made some sound effect changes in the English version. In the Japanese track, the guns sound like guns. The bullets pierce armor, they ricochet, they have impact. They sound like bullets. But in the English track, they sound more like laser bolts or something, with odd high-pitched impact sounds when they hit their target. What the hell is the point of this? There's also a handful of really odd moments, like when Al shows the police his injuries from a hit and run he just experienced. What is up with that guy's face?
Jesus Christ! I mean, listen to him!
I got hit right there. And look, over here too.
I need an adult.
What about me? I likes the children's.
That just makes it worse!
Also in the same vein, did the commercial eye catcher really need to show a close-up of the kid's ass? Or hell, why is he drawn like he's not even wearing pants half the time? This show really has some weird obsession with randomly objectifying this prepubescent boy. So after the attack, Al's friends show up with souvenirs of the battle, including a few empty rounds and a fucking warhead this fat ass stores in his backpack somehow. But as they show him, Al, the guy who is normally really into this military stuff, begins to cry. For me, this is the most heartwarming scene in the entire show. By this point in the plot, Al spent a lot of time helping out the Zakus. He's seen war firsthand. He's seen people get shot. He's seen explosions. He's seen corpses. And he finally realizes the weight of the impending nuclear threat approaching on Christmas. Maybe he would have been excited about holding spent cartridges, but unlike his friends, he actually knows what they mean.
Boy, this show isn't exactly brimming with the old Christmas spirit, SFO.
What do you expect? I ran out of the traditional Christmassy stuff and had to fall back on a war story.
Well, I don't know, you could have done something like the Cardcaptor Sakura Christmas special.
Fuck that. I don't even own any of that shit.
Check your gifts tomorrow morning, my son.
Finally, to cap this off, I have a problem with the big twist ending. Specifically, that it's a twist that they give away at the halfway point of the show, but still expect us to be shocked at the end. Without spoiling anything, there's a general formula that a tragic romance follows. A couple meets up, they enjoy short, fleeting moments of love, and then circumstances beyond their control tear them apart. But in War in the Pocket, they directly tell us the event that will split Bernard and Christine up, even before they've begun the romance. What should have been a heart-rending ending really just feels like waiting for the show to end, and it really insults the intelligence of the audience when it treats its final 5 minutes as some novel surprise.
And that's Mobile Suit Gundam War in the Pocket. Starts off strong, but fizzles out. I'd still recommend seeing it even if you haven't seen the other Gundam shows, though.
It works great as a standalone story, with no prior knowledge of Mobile Suit Gundam required. Of course, it's even better if you've seen the other stuff, but if you have seen the other stuff, then there's a good chance you've already seen this anyway. But if you're new to Gundam, this show's the perfect way to get into it. It does have its flaws, though. Like I said, it really did age terribly, and the voice acting is bad. It's not even an enjoyable bad, it's just a boring bad. But generally, these are just nitpicks, and if they really get on your nerves, War in the Pocket, being only 6 episodes long, doesn't stay past its welcome.
Okay, question. Why did you watch this with me? I mean, don't you have a job to do?
Yeah, but even old Saint Nick deserves a break from time to time. Now give me some cookies!
Aren't there kids waiting for their presents?
Yeah. Well, just cut out some cities in China. I mean, they don't believe in God anyway, right?
Alright, it's time for me to ho-ho go! I'll see you next year!
Merry Christmas!
Welcome to Season 3.
And why the fuck is it raining in space?